I'm getting hot and I'm getting nervous. Hey nerds, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I know there's a lot going on in this first frame, this first clip. Two things. I am in a different room. As you can see, it's slightly different from the usual studio. Remember how I said I was moving this summer? Yeah, I'm in the middle of packing up my house, so we're in a different room. Two, I know I haven't been so quick with the posting. There's lots going on around here. But by the title, you can see what we're doing today. We're gonna have some fun today. I'm going to be talking about my favorite conspiracy theories. Now, I was gonna do all of them in one video, but that would have been like 2 hours long because if you don't know or you haven't been to my channel before, hi. I love conspiracy theories. I fall down rabbit holes quite often, and it's just a fun time for me. But I'm gonna only focus on a few today for this video. But before we get into that, please leave a like. It really helps me and I appreciate it. Thank you. Now let's get into this. Okay, the first conspiracy theory that I want to talk about is killer clowns. You may have heard this one, but in case you haven't, I'm gonna go through the entire thing, okay? So upon first finding out about this, I had no idea that this was its own conspiracy theory. I thought it was just like some kind of weird occurrence that was going on in the world. There's 3 possible theories surrounding this topic, so we're gonna go through each one. So do y'all remember in 2016 when all those clown sightings were like a thing? Y'all remember that? I remember that being like such a big deal back then. Like, we didn't know what was going on, okay? And that brings me to our first sub-theory about the killer clowns. 2016 was the year before the remake of It came out. It Chapter 1. This was a really big deal, being that the OG was so popular in the 90s. So this is how the theory goes. The movie studio or the production company that was, you know, handling the movie, they were trying to, you know, promote and advertise the remake. They were like, hey, let's set up a clown sighting, get people excited about the movie, you know, because it was about a crazy killer clown popping up, you know, out of nowhere staring at kids and stuff. So they were like, yeah, let's do this and we can generate some buzz. Then after the promotion happened, people started doing it on their own, and then the whole thing just went too far. The second theory or sub-theory of this topic is that the clowns were coming about because of Donald Trump. Now, I know that sounds weird and it doesn't seem like it fits, but let me get to it. There is a method to this madness. So I know that y'all remember, you know, that as well back in 2016, Hillary versus Donald. It was like one of the most scariest times to be in America. And it was no secret that when Donald Trump was running for president, he based his campaign on fear. If you were a woman, a minority, part of the LGBTQ plus community, or all three, it was a very scary time for you to be in America during this election. Donald Trump made it clear that he wasn't very supportive of those groups. I mean, it was, you know, kind of obvious. And the things that he was promising, you know, if he were to come into candidacy, they were very scary, and those things were dealing with, you know, oppressing those groups that I just listed. That's where the fear comes in. And this is my own opinion, this is not fact. I truly believe that Donald Trump wanted the people who were going to vote for him, he wanted them to be afraid of the minorities, like, you know, illegal immigrants or immigrants in general. He wanted them to fear the LGBTQ and that was another component of him basing his campaign off of fear. And he was positioning himself and creating this image of him being the hero. Like, if I win this election, you know, there's nothing to fear. I will save you from all these scary things. There's nothing to fear with me, da 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 da. So the theory goes that one day Trump or his team, you know, was sitting around thinking, what scares people the most? And apparently the top two things that people are most afraid of are death and clowns. So they decided to combine those two elements and start having clowns pop up in every part of the country, scaring people. Now this is where the theory for me gets a little hazy, because I don't know like the true step-by-step process of this part of the theory. Long story short, the clown sightings were planned, and then Donald Trump was supposed to like come in, swoop in, and save everybody and take care of the clowns. So he came up with that. That was the theory. And the third sub-theory of the killer clown like situation is that it was a cult that was worshiping the serial killer John Wayne Gacy, aka the Killer Clown. And y'all know he was infamous for, you know, preying on and unaliving children, especially little boys. If you remember, back when all these clown sightings were like happening, they were like, children were the main target. Like, they were the victims. They were the people that were being attacked. And there were even news stories where kids were being interviewed about the clown sightings and the clown attacks. It was mostly kids who were being targeted. So that just kind of, you know, solidifies that part even more. Now, out of the three, I would say that the Donald Trump one is more believable. Now let me explain why. I got levels to it. I'm about to tell you why I think this. So, American Horror Story. If you have seen the show, especially season 7, you know and you understand why this is about to make so much sense. If you haven't, I'll explain it a little bit. American Horror Story has a theme each season, right? So season 7, their theme was, you know, it was titled Cult. And that season was surrounding the 2016 election, the aftermath of said election, and it was full of clowns. And not just a regular group of clowns, a cult of clowns. And I say, like, this is like, you know, the Trump sub-theory being the most believable is because this show, this season specifically, had him winning the election and the aftermath of that election, you know, with people being attacked and the racial tensions, just social injustice in general, and tying that in with the clowns. That was the most meta season of the show, because that is literally what happened. That was the most relatable season of American Horror Story. So them making a season based only on those factors, Donald Trump, the clowns, the cult of clowns, like, it was hitting too close to home. I even said that in the video that I made about American Horror Story, because it was reliving that all over again. And the season dropped a year after the election of 2016. So it was real close together. So that's why I believe that to be the most believable like theory about the killer clowns. Okay, next theory. So this one's a good one. I kind of like this one. And it's interesting. It's interesting. This next theory is about Ed, and Eddie. And the theory is that all the characters, like all the kids that live in the cul-de-sac, are dead and they are stuck in purgatory. So I never really watched this show like when it was out. I mean, it was a little before my time. It came out in like, I think 1999. I was born in 2002. So I wasn't really watching Ed, and Eddie, like not even the reruns, but I've been watching it a little bit recently because I've been watching like an influx of cartoons lately. So if you don't know what purgatory is, it's basically the in-between space of life and death. It's where lost souls go. It's where souls that have unfinished business go. It's where unbaptized babies go. And you're kind of like waiting there until you find your peace or you finish your business, you know, that's what purgatory is. It's like a waiting place. And then the evidence backing up that each child is dead is because of the way that they act. So the theory says like each child died from a different time period or in a different time period, and it kind of made sense. So for example, it is said that Eddie died in the 1930s during the Great Depression, and this explains his need to make a quick buck all the time and his, you know, greed for money because he was living and died during the Great Depression. And then also their tongues are like weird colors. They're like blue and green, and this happens when like after you die, your tongue turns purple, green, blue, like due to swelling and no oxygen in the body or blood flow. So look at their tongues. They're not like pink like, you know, human tongues are supposed to look like they're green, they're blue, they're other colors. Also, these kids stay the same age throughout the entire show. So they don't age, we don't see them get older. And finally, the last piece is that you never see their parents. I mean, there were glimpses of parents, but there were no parents around. It was just those kids in that cul-de-sac, you know, chilling, hanging out. Where are the parents at? Where the parents at, bro? I know it's probably not true, but it makes a lot of sense. Next theory, I didn't come up with this next one on my own. I just realized it on my own without someone telling me about it first, but I probably came up with this too, or someone else out there. But my next conspiracy theory is that Prince, the singer, the legend, Prince was a prophet. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I know, I get it, but let me explain. So, I'm a huge Prince fan. I love Prince, love his music, love his movies, love all that. When I was first, you know, discovering Prince, like truly discovering Prince and learning about him, I learned most of what I know from him, from my dad. If you're watching this, hey dad, he's so learned in Prince like knowledge, so he knows 10 times more than I do. But he was showing me some of his popular songs, and you know, we were like just chilling, shooting it, and then I noticed the lyrics, and he's like, Talia, listen to the lyrics. There's something in his songs, and I'm just like, no, why is no one talking about this? You mostly hear the prophecies in the music. I mean, he said some things in interviews too, like for example, when he said, we're gonna be sampling the songs of the sample that was sampled before that sample. And he's right, because literally every other song today is a sample of a sample.
The sampling is getting to the point where it's out of hand too. I mean, pretty soon we'll be sampling the sample that was already sampled.
I.e. Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday 2. I'm kidding, Barbs, don't come for me. But come on, those are a lot of samples on that. But anyway, like, he was right about that. And he was just so ahead of his time, but I think it's because he could see things, or he knew things before they were going to happen. So I want to like pick on some songs where I think he was truly prophesizing and making predictions. So the first song I want to talk about of his is 1999. I think that Prince predicted Y2K. If y'all don't know what Y2K is, that was the big scare right before the new millennium started. Like, you know, they were like, what's gonna happen to our computers? Is it gonna be able to read the year 2000? And if it malfunctions, our planes are gonna go down, all the, you know, electricity is gonna go out, Look it up. Look at Y2K and the Y2K scare. Y'all was wilding back then. Y'all was, whew. Okay, so it was released in 1982. Okay, it was released in 1982, and I'm gonna read the lyrics to you. I just want to say that for reference. It was released in 1982. Let's go by the first verse, okay? I was dreaming when I wrote this, forgive me if it goes astray. But when I woke up this morning, I could have sworn it was Judgment Day, aka end of the world. The sky was all purple, there were people running everywhere, trying to run from the destruction, you know, I didn't even care. So people were so convinced that the world was gonna end, and you know, if you've seen like end of world movies, you see like, you know, there's chaos in the streets, people are freaking out, they're like, what are we gonna do? The world's ending, you know? Does that not sound like the world ending, like people running around, losing their minds, like not knowing what to do? But this is where it got me. This is when I was convinced. Say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. What does that sound like to you? What does that sound like to you? 2000, like it literally said 2000, like the year 2000, 00, like how it will show up on a computer, like at the bottom, like the date, 00, oops, out of time, like, you know, the world will be no more. So I'm gonna party like it's the last day of 1999 because we gonna die tomorrow. This man predicted the Y2K scare. You can't convince me otherwise. I'm sorry. So the other song that I think he was sharing a prophecy in was Sometimes It Snows in April. Now, I believed he prophesied his own death. Now, like I just said, the song is entitled It Snows in April. Prince died April 21st, 2016. Okay, now if you've seen his movie, what is it called? Under the Cherry Moon, or if you've heard the soundtrack and you know the song, you kind of can start to put the pieces together, but let me read the lyric. Tracy died soon after a long-fought civil war, just after I wiped away his last tear. I guess he's better off than he was before, a whole lot better off than the fools he left here. Sometimes it snows in April, sometimes I feel so bad, so bad. Sometimes I wish that life was never ending, and all good things they say never last. This may seem like a reach, but to me, like, it's symbolic. And if you've seen the movie and you know the song and then you have all the information, you put it together, it kind of works. And I believe he did know that he was gonna pass sometime in April, and he did. May he rest in peace. That was just a few examples. I'm pretty sure there's other songs where he's like, you know, prophesizing something, predicting something, but hey. Okay, this next one, I'm kind of scared to talk about because, first of all, it's nighttime right now, and I don't want to really, like, think this, but I'm gonna be brief with this one because it's gonna creep me out. Have y'all seen what the Denver airport looks like? Some people say that that is the Triangle People's HQ. Yeah, and it makes so much sense, and then people say that bad things have always happened there, and that big-ass blue, like, cobalt horse at the front, like, at the front of it, it killed the person that made it. Like, the sculptor who built it, it killed him. Look at this thing. Look at this fucking thing. Look at it. Look at this. And guess what it's named? Guess what its name is? It's named Blucifer. Blucifer. You gonna tell me that this is not some kind of, like, symbolism? Look at this. So this place was already starting off with bad juju the minute it was built, or the minute that the horse was built, and it has like glowing red eyes. Like, who wants to see that when they're boarding and or like landing? See, me having an irrational fear of planes because of Final Destination, I would not want to get on a plane at this airport. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna put up some pictures, and you just look at these pictures, and yeah, I'm gonna come back. Like, the theory, it makes sense, because what is all that? You mean to tell me that's just like, oh, it's just art, it's just art, huh? That's just art? Okay, bro. But no. And people have said or have shared that they have like an uneasy feeling when they come into that airport. Like, the vibe is all wrong. It feels very like, you know, there's a negative energy in there. All I know is I will not be going there anytime soon, so I'm gonna stay safe. I'm gonna stay, you know, uncursed. And the last theory I want to talk about is, it's actually about a song, and this one is probably a well-known one, but this theory is about the song Hotel California by the Eagles. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I never liked this song because it always creeped me out, even as a kid. It just has like that eerie feeling, you know? And when I got older and like I learned the lyrics, I was right about that eerie feeling. So, it's fun. I'm kind of scaring myself. So theory goes, like all theories go, you know, this band apparently sold their souls to you know who, and then they wrote a song about it, trying to talk about what it's like to interact with you know who. So yeah, and I just feel like the lyrics really kind of visualize that. And people are like, oh, it's just a song, it's just artistic choices. I'm like, is it? Let's read the lyrics. Let's find the lyrics real quick. Hold on. And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Huh? What? Oh, I skipped this. I don't know why I skipped like the first verse. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Act dumb if you want to. Last example. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place where I was before. Relax, said the night man. We are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Check out anytime I like. That's basically saying you can run but you can't hide. Like, what is that? And I'm assuming that the night man is, you know who. And I'm just like, did they ever truly leave? Like, did they ever get to leave for real? Like, oh my gosh. And you're probably like, Talia, you're over exaggerating. That's not it at all. Okay. So the album cover art, like, for this song, here it is. It's in a hotel, I'm assuming. There's a little party going on, like, everybody having a good time. What's that in the corner? What's that? Who is that? What is that? What is that? And, like, when I first saw this, I thought it was, like, some kind of, like, you know, evil spirit. And, like, I brightened it a little bit and, like, kind of try to, you know, up the exposure. It looks like, what's his name? Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. That kind of looks like him. If you like look at it with, you know, if you change your perspective and like shift your eyes a little bit, focus one eye, that looks like him. Ugh, I'm getting hot and I'm getting nervous. I can't. It makes me feel like I have creepy crawlies everywhere. But yeah, those are all my theories for this video. I'm gonna end it because I'm psyching myself out and I want to be done. I want to go in. Oh my god, it's just a car. It's just a car. I was like, someone's coming through my wall. I'm done. So that concludes our video for today. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you want me to do a part 2 with more of my favorite conspiracy theories, let me know. Like, leave a comment or something and I'll make another one. And subscribe if you want to. I'll see y'all on the next go round. Okay, bye.